Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Vijayendra Singh Tawar, Associate Professor in English, and at present, I have been posted at Government College Guda in the Dusdunu district. During this period of Corona, we are going to give you the video lectures so that your study may not hamper. So in this connection, today's video is meant for the students of class BA part 3rd, subject English literature, paper 1st. And in this video, we are going to talk about the critical appreciation of Ulysses, a famous poem composed by Alfred Lord Tennyson. As it is our system, or you can say way of making critical appreciation of any poem, first of all, we should talk about the poet. As far as the introduction to the poet is concerned, Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of the most popular Victorian poet. He was born during the Victorian era. As we know, Victorian age in the history of England is regarded as the golden age. Means there was progress in every field, maybe literature, science, agriculture, medicine, etc. In every field there was progress. And during that period, Alfred Lord Tennyson was made poet laureate in the, you can say, Council of King's Ministers. He was poet laureate. He was born in 1809 and he died in 1892. He is not a popular Victorian poet, but also one of the most popular of English poets of every age. Dryden has said, in every age, there is someone. There is someone means any person or a personality or the other who represents in his poetry the very spirit of that age. And this is true as far as Tennyson's poetry is concerned, as he represents the very spirit of the Victorian age. He stands in the same relation to his times as does Chaucer to the 14th century England and Alexander Pope to the early 18th century England. There is a remarkable musical quality and pictorial quality present in his work. Means musical rhythm, there is a rhythm in his composition, and pictorial means when we read his poems, we find before our eyes the scene which is described in his poems. His work reflects an engagement with the past. He is more interested in the past, and he used the tales of legendary heroes to express this concern in his works. We find that he often takes a character from the past, particularly legendary heroes, and expresses his views in his poems. Now about the poem. As far as the poem is concerned, Ulysses is one of the most famous poems written in English language. It is prescribed in almost all the universities of the world wherever English literature is taught. This poem was first published in 1842 after Arthur Hallam's death. Arthur Hallam was one of the best friend of Alfred Lord Tennyson. He died, and in his memory he wrote one of the most popular elegies in English language in memory. As far as this poem is concerned, it expresses the poet's feeling about the need of going forward and facing life despite the bereavement, sorrow, sufferings he has suffered. Though he was very sad at the death of his friend, but as you know, the world goes on. So this is this is the message which is given through this poem. Ulysses was the legendary Greek hero, the story of whose heroic deeds and adventure is sung by Homer in his Odyssey. Odyssey is one of the most popular epic of the past, particularly Greek. Just as in India, there are two epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, popular. In the same way, in Greek, particularly in Greece, there are two epics, Iliad and Odyssey. So it is from Odyssey. Actually, the main character or the protagonist of Odyssey is Odysseus, which is in English language called Ulysses. However, Tennyson's Ulysses is closely modeled on Dante, Alighieri Dante's Italian poet. Ulysses as cast in the 26th canto of the Inferno. The influence of classical poets Homer and Virgil is seen in phrasing and many verbal echoes. Means though he has changed because Ulysses was such a popular name at that time, so many poets composed their composition keeping him in the main character. And in this connection, Alighieri, Dante also composed, Odyssey, Homer also composed. Tennyson's Ulysses is closely modeled with Homer, oh no, sorry, Dante. But despite this indebtedness, Tennyson's treatment is original and Ulysses remains, the poem remains the noblest of all Tennyson's classical poems. Now let us come to the development of thought, what is stated in the poem. As we know, Ulysses was the king of Ithaca. He took part in the Trojan War, which lasted for 10 years. Then he spent another 10 years to travel home because he was waylaid by several difficulties and adventures. The idea is Ulysses, after winning the battle or war, Trojan War, he started his return journey, but at that time there were no such ships which are available nowadays. So it was waylaid by wind and he went here and there and traveled, faced many adventures for 10 years. That is 10 years in war, 10 years in travel. After 20 years, he returned home, his kingdom Ithaca, and he was made king and he started leading a peaceful domestic life. But soon he felt bored with his homely settled life. In the poem, he is supposed to be standing at the coast of the sea, surrounded by his sailors, whom he exhorts to follow him in quest of more knowledge and experience. He gives arguments after arguments in favor of a life of travel and adventures. That is, the poem is a dramatic monologue, and it is supposed that Ulysses is the speaker and his co-travelers, companions who took part in Trojan War, they have gathered at the coast or the beach and he is addressing, he is exhorting them to leave everything behind and to go again for adventure. First, the arguments which he gives in favor of his decision is the first, the people of the island, that is his kingdom, are uncivilized. The laws are unjust. It's uncivilized, and so he will not like to rule there. His wife has grown aged, it is old. He does not enjoy her company. The people do not understand his real nature. Secondly, he has grown used to a life of adventure. Means it is becomes a part of personality to face adventure every day. And the inactive life of a king does not suit him, his personality. He has visited many lands and known many people with their different habits and ways of life, different culture, different lifestyle, etc. But there are still many more lands to be seen, and he is eager to visit them. He further says, the more he knows, the greater is his thirst for knowledge. He would like to follow knowledge like a sinking star. Human life is short and knowledge is infinite, unlimited. Therefore, no time is to be wasted. At home, one becomes rusted, one science only in use. He has only a few more years to live, and he would devote them to the pursuit of as much knowledge and experience as possible. The idea is he is hungry for more and more adventure, and he wants that his companions should follow him without any question. As regards his island, that is his kingdom, is concerned, he has no worry about his government. His son Telemachus is quite sensible to perform his duty towards his mother and kingdom. So he leaves his kingdoms and his rule to his son, while he himself will enjoy his life of adventure abroad. Therefore, his companions must set sail with him that very night. This is very important. Whenever we start a good job or good work, we start in the early morning. But here he is starting at the time of night. This shows death or symbol of death, that is uh, going away from his responsibility. In the past, they have cheerfully faced together great dangers and difficulties, and they would also do so in the future. In the past, they achieved much that was noble, no doubt. They have grown old, but noble achievement is possible even in old age. He's exhorting, he's motivating his companions. They would sail towards the west, even beyond the western horizons. It is just possible that they would be drowned, but it is also possible that they reach the Happy Isles, the abode of their dead heroes. It is believed that Happy Isles is the place where the souls of the dead heroes live. They may be physically weak, but they are still strong in determination. So they would set sail. Their aim is to strive, it's to try, to seek, to search, to find, and not to yield. Not yield means not to surrender before any kind of situation. Now, critical appreciation or critical comments on this point. First is, the poem is a dramatic monologue. The poem is dramatic monologue. As you know, dramatic monologue is a poem in which there is a one speaker and other listener. Listener can be one or more than one. So the poem is a dramatic monologue. It is dramatic because it expresses the feelings not of the poet but of Ulysses. That is a character. And it is monologue because only one person speaks throughout. That is Ulysses. And the others merely listen to him. Second is complex work of art. The poem is not a simple one. It is a complex work of art, and as such is capable of different interpretations. We can draw different meanings from this poem. It has been interpreted as an expression of the Victorian urge of for action, for life, for excitement, for travel, adventure, and discovery. That is, during that period, people were always hungry for more and more knowledge. At one level, This is symbolic of that. And at the other level, but it has also been interpreted as an escape poem, that the main character, that is Ulysses, is trying to run away from his responsibility as a husband, as a father, as a king. And then a character study. The poem aims at presenting a type of character, not of narrating an action. The character depicted in this poem is the character of a restless man, impatient to resume his travel and inquiry. He is eager to go and search and get more and more knowledge. Ego-centered poem. This is very important. This is a minus point of the main character. It is an ego-centered poem. The central character, that is the protagonist main character, is obsessed by self-concern. The pronoun I is used a number of times. For example, I meet and do. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink. This use of I. I shows that he is egoist. Besides these, the words my and myself are used when he talks of his relationship with his wife, his son, and his people. So it is egoist. Then diction, that is the language. The poem displays Tennyson's command over language and his felicity of phrasing, his pleasing way of writing. He has said what he had to say in the fewest possible words. This makes the diction terse and epigrammatic, means we can say aphoristic. He has stated much in few words. Many of the lines of the poem have passed into common everyday proverbs. Means many lines have become proverbs and they are often asked in UPSC exams. For example, to follow knowledge like a sinking star. Means keep on earning more and more knowledge till one dies. Second, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. This is again a, we can say, promise by the character center character. He says, he exhorts his companions that they will continue try. They will try more, search to find, and not to surrender before any situations. Then the music. Tennyson was a consummate artist, a perfect artist, a painstaking artist. He chooses his words both with reference to their sense and their sound. Music is created. Music is created by the clever use of alliteration. Liquid consonants, le, me, and ne. These are the sounds, not spellings. And the bringing together of a number of vowel sounds as in the following. So there lies the port, the vessel puffs her sail, there gloom the dark broad seas. This poem is written in blank verse, which especially in the last lines acquire almost a Miltonic grandeur, greatness, and the sweep and majesty of movement. Now conclusion. In conclusion, it may be said that the poem is rightly termed as a representative poem of Victorian spirit of inquiry. It stands out as a forward-looking voice, always eager, always on the move. There is epigrammatic brevity in the poet's style, use of words. Idea is he has said what he wanted to say in the fewest possible words. There are lines where we feel the idea has found its most fitting, beautiful garb. The pictorial effect is concentrated even in a single word. For example, windy Troy. In short, the poet has expressed the feelings of Ulysses in a beautiful way and has used his poetic talent in a remarkable manner, very impressively, effectively. As such, the poem is one of the most creditable achievement of Ulysses, sorry, Alfred Lord Tennyson. Thank you very